This is.
Hi, this is Central Maine Power. I do understand you have been transferred to me and the call got dropped.
He said he was going to give me a call back when he got more information.
I do apologize. So I did get a little information when the call was transferred to myself.
Okay.
And I do have a little information for you. I'm not sure what you may have been requesting prior, and we can definitely go over that as well if you'd like.
Okay.
But I just wanted to let you know what I was aware of.
Okay.
And we can go from there if you don't mind.
Thank you.
Okay. So for the address, I see the account was closed and the meter removed. And I know that's something you had discussed previously. I do see that in the notation. I see the date for the closure of 12/8 of 21.
Okay.
That being said, I have been, I'm sorry, my voice is a little cracked and I do apologize. The town itself is stating they own the building.
Okay.
And that's why the services have been closed and the meter removed. However, if you are looking to take over services at that address and add a meter, that is something we can discuss as well.
No, I want to state for the record what happened.
Okay, and when you say that, what do you mean, may I ask?
I have proof and witnesses that the county sheriff's department showed up at my home of 383 North New Portland Road, North Anson, Maine on May 2nd of 2021. And they were made aware by Philip Dickey that I was buying the home from him. On that date, I had, after that, requested power to be turned on. And when I requested it initially, if you can look back through the records to that date when I initially called and requested power, they sent a technician out, and it was noted to me that I couldn't get power because I needed a new pole and that I would have to pay about $1,000 for a pole, and that was the guy named Joey from Bingham. Well, for 60 odd days, I was told repeatedly by my relatives and one being part of the fire department in Anson, Maine, that pole, there was nothing wrong with it. It had only been there as long as that new double wide had been there, which was approximately 11 years old. And noting that there was internet and cable, so they came back out 60 days later and put the pole in use with a new meter, okay? And back in November, it's noted that I was on a missing person search for my own daughter. And the same time that I was contacted to find out that my daughter was found and I needed to go make medical decisions on her, it was noted to me by my house sitter, who was there taking care of my home on a daily basis as well as my livestock, that my home had been condemned without my acknowledgement, and then it was burned down without my acknowledgement, and I was sent video of it. So I contacted CMP, and CMP lady told me on an audio recorded conversation that I have no right to the information and that anybody can order for my service to be disconnected. That I wasn't living there. Well, I was living there, and I got frivolously kicked out of my home. So I thank you for answering my questions. So who was it that was contacted and said that they were Kimberly, but they couldn't get the last name, and that was on December 8th. And was my house burned down at that time when they took the power box, or was it burned down after?
So I did not have the information as far as the house being burned down for that date. I do apologize. I did have the date as far as I can read for the notes as far as the closure of the account itself.
Okay.
May I ask, I understand our conversation and what you wanted to advise me of. What is it that you are looking to do at this time?
At this time, I'm going to be seeking some legal assistance because somebody frivolously condemned and burned my home down, and I believe it was a hate crime. And noting that, CMP had my email address because they knew previous to that that I was a traveler, and I am a traveler, and they had my email address to send my billing to. So if they couldn't have contacted me to verify it, they should have emailed me if they couldn't contact me by phone, because the phone number that I've been provided that CMP had and called and said that they reached Kimberly but couldn't confirm the last name, that's wrong. That's not my phone number. My phone number hasn't changed, other than my house phone number's been disconnected. When they burned my house, they disconnected my phone a month later.
I'm just reading through the notes, Kim, as we talk, just to see if there's any further information I can discuss here or I can verify here for us. And I do apologize if I'm quiet, and I just want you to know that's the reason why. And I'm just looking through some of the dates that we had talked about as well.
Yeah, and like July 12th, they sent me a letter with a notice, for medical, because I have a pacemaker and I utilize a heart monitor. And so obvious, I had chickens there, I had a garden, everybody knew where I was. Everybody knew because there were flyers and posters and reports to the police. My daughter was missing. So this, again, was a frivolous act. I've even received threats and messages since then, just past couple of days ago, telling me who did this and why.
So I can't state to the fact as far as the house burning, as I mentioned, because I don't have notation for that myself.
Right.
However, I can state as far as the account being closed and the vacancy, and I do see a notation here when you had spoken to one of our representatives back in December, and the town had stated the home was vacant, and the home did not belong to you as the tenant, and that is why the account was closed, and that is why the meter had been removed.
So it was the town that said that?
That is what I'm seeing, that the removal order was in place for a request from the town.
So I wonder how the town could confirm that I didn't live there, seeing how they all knew I did live there, and that yeah.
So, with safety, with vacancy, there's a few different things where a town can give us, like their inspectors and things like that, can let us be aware, and if they've taken over a home, and it sounds like they had condemned the house you had stated.
Yeah, they condemned it while I was away looking for my daughter, but I hadn't moved out of the home. That's the discrepancy. They did condemn it. They had no business condemning it, because you can't condemn a home that's in repair, okay? But in that meantime, on the day after Thanksgiving, that's when they condemned it, and somebody had taken my chickens. My house sitter went up to feed the chickens, and she called me and said, hey, this is crazy. But they never contacted me. And everybody knows that I live there. In fact, I have a registered business, an L3C, registered with the state of Maine, and that was where my office was out of my home.
And I'm not stating that's not true, Kim. I don't want you to think that's what I'm saying. That's not in any way what I'm saying. What I'm stating to you is what we have for information and what we have for documentation.
Right.
And what we have for documentation is that request from the town. And if that was put in place due to a safety issue, or if they had taken over the property, and they had that right to do so if that was the case. And unfortunately, I would not be able to make any changes.
Right. So what I'm getting at is, bottom line, it goes back to the town. That's what I needed you to confirm for me, and you did. Thank you so much.
I completely understand.
Yes, and the other part of that is the lady that I had spoken to previous to that. I don't know if she's noted on my account, but I can tell you right now that she was very rude to me, and she would not give me any information. She made it out to be like I was lying and that I wasn't who I was supposed to be or whatever. I don't know what her issue was, but she would not give me any kind of information. And she also made me aware that a neighbor can steal power if they want to. And I don't think that was very good advice, because she knew that she was being audio recorded. And she made that comment, and that got out to the public that she said that. So if she's on my account noted, the supervisor might want to speak to her about making such accusations.
I completely understand, and I do apologize the call went that way, and I do apologize that those words had been said. As far as the conversation, I don't know exactly what may have been said. I wasn't there, but I can say that something that does happen, anyone can call in and take over services. That is something, if somebody wants to call over financially and take over services, they can do so. However, depending on the situation, they can't necessarily just close out an account. This was a different circumstance. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it certainly does, because they illegally condemned my home. They said that I wasn't living there, and I was living there, so you can't. And it was in repair, and all the carpenters and everybody in the town knew it. But because the previous owner, being my uncle, is a convicted sex offender, they didn't want anybody to ever live in that home before. So they had vandalized it when they charged him years ago, to the point where they didn't think anybody would ever go in and live in it again. And the neighbor across the street actually told me that.
So, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's been a disgusting mess. It's a crooked town, and we're bringing them all to light, because I'm sitting in Washington, D.C. I've been meeting with and filing lawsuits against them, asking for investigation in regards to this case, because they burned me out of a home where they had no right to do so. And the police,
I completely understand.
The police were even involved.
I'm not in that situation in any way. You always have that right. That's your right to seek legal action. And I mean, I know if where this has to do with the town, and you need to be working. I don't want to say with them, but that's something that is between you and the town. Unfortunately, it's not something I can make a change, even though I wish I could. Something I can say, if you need, services as far as legal, Pine Tree Legal is somebody that we always have. Referred to people to, because they do help people that may not have financial to be able to get other lawyers, if that's something you're looking to.
I thank you very much for that information, because not everybody shares information like you have, and you've been grateful. You've been helpful. I'm grateful for that. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. May I ask, Kim, was there anything else I could answer while I do have you on the phone?
Maybe the usage power, because the usage. Are you able to see my account at all? Because that will verify and prove that. I mean, I had power on. My chickens were heated in my barn that got burned down. I had an outdoor freezer. I had an indoor freezer.
Right.
So there had to have been.
When the meter was removed, I don't have access to the meter information, so I'm not able to see the past usage to be able to look at the breakdown. As far as, let me take a look here. If I go into, I apologize, just looking at a different screen here.
That's okay.
If I look at the last bill, it shows that for 2021, this is a daily average usage summary that shows on your bill.
Mm-hmm.
There was 0 for January through June. July to September, there was minimal usage. And then there looks like there was some usage in October and November, and then back to minimal usage in December. It looks like right before the account closed.
Yeah, so that verifies exactly, thank you, because the increase was the heat lamps for my chickens, and the decrease right before the account closed was because they took my chickens.
But yes, that final bill reflects that daily, or should I say monthly usage summary, showing the graph that you see each month, and that reflects that usage during that time frame.
Thank you very much.
Was there anything else I could answer for you?
That's it. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate your call, and I'm glad I was able to speak with you. Be safe.
You as well. Thank you.
Thank
Stay
you.
blessed.
Bye.
CMP. Verifying. You just heard me, so I don't have to repeat it. My chickens were there. I wonder if they stole the heaters. I'll have to find out from Liz if the heat lamps were taken. Oh, wait. Liz wouldn't have known that because Liz didn't go back on the property after it was condemned, which is good. I'm glad she didn't. But who went on the property and got away with it so far? Because all that information, the pictures, the emails to the Somerset County Sheriff's Department and everybody that was involved in this have been shared with right here, Washington, D.C.